What's poppin', y'all? It's your boy Indigo. I got another story time for you guys today. We got another high school story. Guys, don't be like me in high school. Don't repeat my actions, please. Study hard and get good grades. Alright, this story takes place on a Tuesday, and my alarm's going off, and I hit snooze. I'm over here doing mathematical calculations in my head, trying to figure out what's the latest possible time I can get out of bed and still make it to school on time. Well, I end up getting up 5 minutes before I have to leave, so I don't think I calculated correctly. First thing I do, I hop in the shower, and a big problem with the shower is I hop in the shower and it was really warm and comfortable. I did not want to get out of it, so I spent about a good 10 minutes in the shower, so I was already late at that point. I grabbed like a banana from the pantry and I head straight to my car. And it was cold outside, so it was like kind of ass trying to get into my car. Had to warm it up and stuff. Yeah, back out of my driveway and I speed to school. I'd say it's like a 12-minute drive to school. I maybe got there, shaved off a good maybe 4 minutes. So I get to school, I walk out of my car, and I start the mile walk from the parking lot to the actual school. In the cold, mind you, so the wind's over there like giving me frostbite, but I digress. I walk into the office and the front desk lady's like, "Hey, what's up, Indigo?" Yeah, me and her, we were on a first name basis because of how often I walked into school late. Anyway, she writes a pass for me and I start walking to my first period. On this day, we had SAT testing, so the schedule was all like messed up and weird. So I didn't even know where my first period class was, where I was supposed to go. I asked like one of the teachers in the office and she directs me. She tells me like room B134. She's like, "Where's that?" Like, "Go this way." Like, "Thank you." And I start heading that way. And I get to class. I'm literally the last person to walk in. The whole class looks at me. And they're like, "Good morning. Please take a seat." I look around. There's an open seat by one of my best friends. Let's say his name's Eric. I sit right there, right by Eric. I'm like, "What's up, bro?" He's like, "Hey." So I put my stuff down. I get my trusty pencil out of my backpack. Then I realize I don't have a pencil. So I asked my boy Eric for a pencil. He's like, "Here you go, bro." I'm like, "Appreciate you." So yeah, the teacher's up there talking, doing her thing, and my boy Eric, we're just talking about random stuff about life. You know how those conversations go. And they're over here telling us that we have extra time on our test because I guess my grades were so low, they thought I was sped or something. So I got extra time on my test, so that was good, I guess. Yeah, so while the teacher's up there talking, Eric looks at me. He's like, "Yo, bro." I'm like, "What's up?" He reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a brand new cart. I was like, "Oh, cool, bro." He was like, "Hey, do you want to take a hit?" So at this time, I haven't really smoked in a good while. So like my tolerance, it was at 0. So I was like, if I smoke, I'd probably get really faded. So I was like, nah, not right now. He's like, "Okay." And he goes over there. So anyways, in the corner of my eye, I look over and I'm like, looking at Eric, and he's making this contraption with his water bottle. He had like a Stanley cup. He attached a straw to the Stanley cup to the pen, and then he closed up the cap. I watch him take a drink, aka a rip, of the Stanley cup, and it smokes perfectly fine. And I'm over there like astonished. Like I had no idea that Thomas Edison was right next to me inventing stuff. And I look at him, I'm just like, "Bro, what did you just make?" He looks at me, he's like, "Hey, you still don't want to take a hit?" And I was like, "I have to at this point." I'll take a good 1, 2 hits, nothing too big or anything. Didn't want to get too high. And I take a really big hit. This was a bad idea. And I exhale and I'm like trying my hardest not to cough. There's like a fat cloud around me. I'm like waving my hands around. The teacher was looking down, so I was good for a second. And I'm like holding back a cough really hard. I couldn't hold back anymore, and I was like trying to hold back my cough at the same time, but I was still coughing, so it sounded weird. And the teacher looks at me, he's like, "Are you okay?" And I take a deep breath, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay." He's like, "All right." And I could tell he was sussed out, but he didn't push the issue any further. So thank goodness. So I hand the water bottle back to Eric and I start working on my test. So I'm reading this test and I realize I don't know a damn thing. They gave you a spare piece of paper for like your work and stuff, and I started drawing some amazing Picassos on that piece of paper because your boy was very bored and did not care about this test. But yeah, time passes by. It's lunchtime already, so the teacher dismisses the class. We all go to lunch, and I'm walking to the bathroom and I see a whole bunch of my friends in there. And this guy also has a Benjamin. So I ask him like, hey, can I take a rip? So then I go into the stall and I start ripping this pen and I'm going crazy on the Benjamin, honestly, at this point. I was just chasing a high. So I walk out of there, I hand him back his thing, and I go to wash my hands and a teacher walks into the bathroom. But I was fine. I had nothing in my pockets. I just washed my hands and I left the bathroom. I go grab my lunch. I found a table with a bunch of my homies. I sat down with them. We were just yapping about random stuff in life at this point. So lunch ends and we go back to the testing room and I go back to drawing on my piece of paper. At this point, I was really blazed, so I put my head down and ended up falling asleep for a good while. I woke up maybe like 10 minutes before we were supposed to turn in this test, and I'm looking down at my test and I have nothing written down. So I start working on this test and I'm just writing random answers down in the test because your boy, he was not going to college. So I did not care about this test. I'm over here writing down like A, B, C, D. Yep. And I finished my test and I'm like bringing myself back to reality. I was still pretty sleepy at that point. I'm just sitting there waiting for the bell to ring because the test in a whole took about 5 periods to do. So we had 2 more periods left of school before we could actually go home. Yeah, my last 2 classes were like weightlifting and study hall. So I just kind of messed around after that. Nothing really interesting happened, and I pretty much left school knowing I damn well failed that test. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the story. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We got another story coming out for you guys tomorrow, so stay tuned. But yeah, that's it for me. Indigo, I'm out of here.